everyone. Today I'm listening to the other half of this week's winning poll. Well, I say other half because it was a tie again. And yesterday I had a really beautiful experience listening to the birds turn, turn, turn. Now, today it is going to be Aretha Franklin with her performance of A Natural Woman. And I'm excited about it because, well, first of all, this song was a bit of seems to have a winning streak behind it because the first time I heard A Natural Woman was on Carole King's album Tapestry, and that was my introduction to the song. Also my introduction to Carole King. Now, I am somewhat familiar with Aretha Franklin. I don't know a ton of her music, but I do know her voice. I have heard it a bit. I know that she is a soul singer, and I don't know if I've listened to any of her stuff on this virginrock project, but I have, in my musical exposure through the years, heard her a few times as a singer. Aretha Louise Franklin was an American singer, songwriter, and pianist, regarded as the Queen of Soul. She was twice named by Rolling Stone magazine as the greatest singer of all time. And I see that there are 2 whole paragraphs here listing her awards, achievements, recognitions, all that data about her impact and how the world has recognized her impact. I'll just sum it up by saying she's a highly regarded singer, musician, because obviously even I know her voice, even though I don't live in the soul, gospel, blues world of music. In 2019, the Pulitzer Prize jury awarded her a posthumous special citation for her indelible contribution to American music and culture for more than 5 decades. I think that sums it up pretty well. You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman is a 1967 song recorded by Aretha Franklin. The lyrics were written by Jerry Goffin with music composed by Carole King. I have heard the Carole King rendition of it. Created specifically for Franklin, the single reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of her signature songs. So that's interesting. Carole King composed the music, but it sounds like she composed the music with perhaps Franklin in mind, created specifically for Franklin. So I have heard Carole King's performance of it. Now let's see how it sounds in the hands and voice of Franklin.
Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired. And when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind.
That's a nice little flourish in the violins.
You're the key to my peace of mind. 'Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. When my soul
It is the same song, sort of. What I mean is, I'm really struck by the way in which this feels so different, even though it's basically the same song, right? It's a beautiful example, even just after hearing this first verse. It's a beautiful example of how an artist, a musician, can take a piece of music and make it their own and put their mark on it. And well, as some of you know, Carole King's album Tapestry has become one of Vlad's favorites, especially for when he's driving. So I've actually heard Carole King's Natural Woman many times over, even though I didn't listen to it too many months ago. It's been a little while now. And so coming now to this and hearing Aretha Franklin's performance, it has a whole different atmosphere about it, a whole different feel. Of course, it's because not just her voice, but the instrumentation of it. This has strings. This has more percussion. Yes, it did start with a bit of piano. It's a more multi-dimensional, multi-layered vision of the piece than with Carole King's performance. And I don't want to turn this into purely a comparison of the two. Not at all. But because I am familiar and I have heard Carole King's version, I do have to acknowledge how it feels moving from one to the other. This is really beautiful. I guess I would say that Carole King's version is more earthy, and I might even say more humble in its feel. What do I mean by humble? I'm not sure that humble is the best choice, but somehow her voice and the piano that accompanies her, it has this very down-to-earth quality. This kind of open your back door and it's the world that greets you every day feeling. This has a little bit more of an elevated feel. It has, well, it's, of course, the strings make it a little bit more refined. The chorus voices, the harmonizing that happens, all of that kind of adds another level of polish to it, right? But I'm thinking now of just the overall, how does it strike me? The mood, the kind of emotional picture that it gives me as I'm hearing it. And I'm going to listen a bit more before I commit myself to a way of describing it. But those are my very first impressions after going through this first verse. I like this little string staccato. I like that. I also like the way this bass is kind of keeping it buoyant. This is where it feels like a natural woman. Okay. Well, obviously it puts a big smile on my face. This kind of music tends to do that. And I mean, there's just something about the soul music vibe that is so free and so passionate. And it feels like it embraces all of life so joyfully. And that's what stands out to me in this. It is such a joyful embrace of the state of one's life. And I think that this chorus, when we get to it, it sounds like such a moment of celebration, and not in a kind of tinsel and glitter sort of way. Not that kind of celebration. Not in a sort of it's time for us to party sort of way. No, it feels like this very natural, to use the word natural woman, a very natural, just saying out loud what I feel inside when I step out the door and I see the magic of the day before me and I feel the magic of the day before me. And I know that it is because of the people I am with, the people I love and the people who love me, who make my world feel so magical. And there's just this pouring out of happiness, of joyfulness. And this, the other thing that is interesting to me, how I feel the different parts of this piece. This one, Aretha's performance here is making me more aware, much more aware of the lyrics in the verses. When I listen to Carole King, it's funny. The verses just kind of wash in the background and I hear it and it's more just a sound. But when she gets to "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman," that's the first place where I really process what's happening, what is being said. Here, it feels like the verses and what's in the verses is much more, it catches my attention more. It makes me notice it more. And because of the way the verses are phrased, the lyrics are phrased in the verses, it makes it also have much more religious overtones, right? When my soul was in the lost and found, you came along to claim it. And that, although it's not specifically religious, it kind of tends that direction. When I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind, but you're the key to my peace of mind. It is a song of love and appreciation to the one who loves and is loved, but it also has this kind of a religious overtones. Of course, it's soul music, which is very closely linked to gospel. And so there's this whole blending of traditions. I think that's part of it, but it's also the way Aretha shapes the phrases and uses her voice to send my ears and my attention in different directions. I like that little... And the way she just drives it down into the lower range there. Nice back and forth there. It's so great the way that the instruments supporting her voice are so well timed also. That's a big part of what... piece is just happy. It's delightful. It's I keep coming back to this same way of describing how it makes me feel. And that is, it feels like when I step out the door in the morning and the world is just so incredibly alive. This is how it feels. This is the music that seems to, that is conveying just the happiness and the freedom and the joyfulness of this feeling. Well, of course, it's not talking about stepping out the door. It's talking about being with the person who makes me feel that way. Well, I can relate to that. Very fortunately, I can relate to that. And I recognize that. But it's just an incredibly happy, rich expression of kind of the perfect life with someone that you love. But let's go back a little bit. And I want to, because I didn't want to interrupt it, but there are some things that I want to point out with how I appreciate not only her voice, which is fabulous and is shaping this and giving it wings, giving it wind in its sails, but also the instruments, the band, the ensemble that is supporting this, that is being the instrumental part of the piece, is not irrelevant at all. It's playing a big part, and it's incredibly well designed. And just to show a little bit of that, let's back up just a little bit here.
And I just wanna be close to you. You make me feel so alive. You make me feel.
For example, those drums. Just as we are kind of settling in this a very stylistically appropriate, stylistically consistent feel, the choir answering her voice, the strings, the piano, everything kind of supporting what's happening there. Just as we start to settle into that, and we could stay there a while and be fine with it, then we shift into the "you make me feel" part. And the drums, with a sort of, maybe you'd call it a drum fill, kind of drive us into that. Underline it, give it extra light, extra, basically shine the spotlight on what is coming, and herald the proclamation.
So alive. You make me feel.
And then the drums drive us into this proclamation, but the brass is so well timed to kind of, should I say, carry on and be what it is that the drums launched. And so we have this wonderful propelling motion into that phrase. And when we reach that strong beat, the brass carry it on and throw it even further. And it becomes this wonderful kind of waterfall, or actually not waterfall. I would say more like a fountain which is really spouting up and bursting out and reaching its peak. And another burst, and another burst. It works so well. It works so well with the repetition of "you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman." And I think that the fountain imagery is a great way of describing what this music is doing, what the instruments are doing to this phrase. It becomes a really kind of, if you were to put the music into visuals, it'd be an incredibly visually rewarding, satisfying scene. And then, because of all those bursts, fountain bursts of, you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman. Then when it flows down, natural woman, and we feel the fountain sinking down and landing the flow of it, landing and settling. It doesn't just land and settle. Her voice drives it down, and it becomes even more powerful than just the gravity fall of a natural fountain. It becomes even more than that. So every portion of this phrase, every bit of the instrumentation is so incredibly well designed to enhance and coordinate and collaborate with her voice. It's just a beautiful marriage of all the different elements. And the bass down there as she goes down. And here we are again. And down. Dum, 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 dum. And of course, we can imagine it continuing on, but we have simply, well, to use the visual image again, we have simply turned our eyes and moved on to look at something else. But that doesn't stop the continuing flow of this wonderful, might I say, fountain of life. It's a beautiful musical expression of what it feels like to be a whole person in a whole life. And I love how well it works musically. I also love how compellingly and beautifully it comes across. It works so well to do what it does. And I love that about it. It put a smile on my face this morning. It's a piece of music that simply makes me happy and makes me want to smile. And so for that, of course, I have to appreciate the music, but I also want to thank each of you who voted for this, who made it a tie. And actually, all of you who voted this week for both of these pieces, they have each made me smile and given me immense pleasure in very different ways, but both of them were incredibly enjoyable to listen to, satisfying, rewarding, and they will both be songs that I return to listen to over time because I just know that I will enjoy them. So again, thank you to each of you who voted this week, who chose both of these songs, which won the poll. I'm really looking forward to next time we have a round of voting and see what you choose for me then. And I'm looking forward to what comes next. I'll see you soon.